To health news now, there has been a dramatic spike in flu cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. Here in Ohio, the CDC classifies the U.S. in the purple zone. That means we have very high transmission rates of the flu.
Bree Buckley, doing double duty tonight, spoke with experts today to explain why we're at such a risk for getting sick and how you can protect yourself and your family ahead of the holidays.
As much as we've been focusing on COVID for the last 3 years, we have to remember and remind ourselves how bad influenza is.
As RSV cases go down, hospitals are seeing flu cases drastically rise. New data from the CDC shows that nationwide flu hospitalizations have hit a decade high. Here in Ohio, the 5-year average for flu hospitalizations is barely above zero. For this year so far, though, it's around 400.
We wonder whether or not this is because of the gap years that we had because of COVID. We didn't see any flu. We didn't see a lot of viruses, and now they're coming back, and our immune system are just not as primed as they normally would be.
Dr. Frank Esper with Cleveland Clinic says it's important for those at higher risk to be cautious. Just last week, the clinic saw flu admissions go up 56%.
If you're older than 65, if you're younger than 5, if you've got lung problems, or immune problems, you really need to get vaccinated. And if anybody like that is in your family, you need to get vaccinated because you protect them.
Since flu season began October 1st, the CDC estimates there have been 4,500 flu deaths compared to 5,000 total for all of last flu season. Dr. Amy Edwards with University Hospitals says the lack of peak pandemic precautions is partially to blame.
Masking and social distancing are effective against COVID to a certain extent, but they're extremely effective against influenza because you have to remember people with influenza are not as contagious as people with COVID.
She says kids are spreading the flu fast as daycares and schools relax their restrictions.
The lack of masking and the easement of restrictions around kids being in congregated settings is what's driving, higher flu numbers. So it's not surprising at all what we're seeing.
Reporting in Cleveland, Bree Buckley, 3 News.